is we've done two things with this painting. Number one, we're going to mint 200 of this painting, and you can have this any size you want, and it looks identical to this picture.
Back in the day. Steve Sachs joining us right now. Saxy, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a minute.
How you doing, Scotty?
I'm good. So actually, I want to bring you into the other debate that we were having right before we got to the Astros. How do we fix the ump problem in baseball right now?
Well, you could start by firing Angel Hernandez. That might be a good start. No, I don't want to bag on Angel. I mean, we all know where it's been with him. I'll tell you how far this goes back. My brother, as you know, was a big league player. He's a catcher, and he played a few years in the big leagues with the Dodgers when I was there, and also with Boston. When my brother was in AAA, my brother's 2 years older than me. When my brother was in AAA, Angel Hernandez tossed him out of a AAA game. And if you don't get along with my brother's like the nicest guy you ever met in your life. There's something wrong with you if you can't get along with my brother. I don't know one person that dislikes him, but Angel found a way to toss him out of a game. The only time he's ever been thrown out of a game, and this was in AAA before he got to the big league. So we're talking long time ago. So this isn't something that's just been around for, here and there. It's been kind of a pattern that we've seen over decades, So, I think the umpire's got to be held accountable. Like everybody else in the world we see today, everybody's got to be held accountable. That's what we all want. And certainly the umpires need to go through that scrutiny, I think, as well. We need to get the best guys out there. They've got a lot of help. I mean, I call the games for the Giants AAA here in Sacramento, the TV games on Saturdays, and you got help from the automatic balls and strikes even. I mean, everybody's got help. At least you could do is get some guys behind there that can be held accountable for what they're calling out there. Because it's not good. I mean, I don't like the situation as it is. I mean, umpires are going out on the field and, checking the pitchers like they're kindergartners. Let me see your hands. Let me see your glove. Let me check your hat. I mean, it's got to be brought to another level, a higher level of professionalism, I think. But things like that have got to be taken control of. I mean, let's get the best and brightest out there.
Well, Saxy, how is the ABS system in the minor leagues right now? I've heard mixed reviews, but is it great overall? Are there like few glitches still left to go, or could we start it tomorrow and be ready to go?
Well, I think they've got it down pretty well. I mean, the answers come quickly. It's kind of like what we see when the field judge goes under the hood in the NFL. You want to see a quick response. Sometimes we don't get it quickly, but we want to see the truth come out. And that's what we're seeing pretty much in baseball. And it's pretty much like it is in tennis. You see the ball that barely hits the line. They've got the same thing now kind of dialed in for the strike zone. So you're getting a pretty quick answer. And the pitcher or the hitter can ask a certain amount of requests to get a change or not. And they do it pretty quickly. It runs pretty good. I don't like it because I'm a purist at heart. I like the traditional game. Let's leave some of that jurisdiction in the hands of the umpires. I think they're big boys and they can handle it. But, they have it this way now, and it does happen pretty quickly, though.
Saxy, you mentioned you're in Sacramento. What does it feel like to be calling big league games on Saturdays? Wait, that's next year. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, how about that? It's well, I'll tell you what, the city is just ecstatic about this. The city can handle it. No problem. There's no question about that. You look at the demographics with, the area outside of Sacramento, when you talk about up the corridor at Highway 50 and 80, when you get into Folsom and Roseville here where I live, I mean, you're talking probably over 2 million people that could, help this franchise. And they have been thirsty for baseball. Baseball is notoriously, Sacramento is notoriously a baseball and boxing mecca. If you look in the past, you've seen, tremendous amount of baseball players and boxers here from Sacramento. Of course, we've really taken in the Sacramento Kings. The city loves the Sacramento Kings. But if we get baseball to stay here, oh my gosh, it's going to be incredible. They would go nuts to have a big league team here.
What does that look like? Does the city of Sacramento say, you know what, we're gonna just expand this stadium? Most minor league stadiums aren't like Buffalo or Charlotte, where it's like, hey, yes, we can add on another deck. Is that what they would do?
It's a great question. I think that's in flux right now. I think ultimately what they'd like to do is see if they can make that work for the 3 year, 4 years, whatever it is. And if they just happen not to work out in Las Vegas and they stay here, Sacramento would and has plenty of places to build, a beautiful stadium here. They did it downtown for the Kings and their new stadium there. They would love to do it here in Sacramento, but we'll see how that happens. But I think to the answer to your question is the bar is already low, and not to rag on Oakland, but they weren't drawn well, as we all know. Immediately when they go here, they're going to triple the attendance that they had at least in Oakland without doing any expansion, without spending more money. So the owner really has a bit of an easement here for the next couple of years. I'm sure everybody would like him to go out and put a great product on the field and spend a lot of money, and maybe that's going to happen when they finally get a spot where the A's are going to be.
Steve, most of you guys remember, obviously, I do remember you with the Dodgers. I know you played for some other organizations, Yankees, White Sox, Oakland, but the Dodgers are pretty good right now. And what do you think? And then when you answer that, I do have one more follow-up about your career that I would love to ask you.
Well, yeah, they've got unbelievable talent on that team. They got a lot of money to spend, and they're not ashamed to do it. Shohei Ohtani with that bomb he hit was yesterday, I think, was kind of emblematic. I think what we're going to see a lot of. And Mookie Betts, hey Mookie, I know you're a great athlete. You got the offense, great. You came up as a second baseman. Go play right field and win a Gold Glove. Oh, you're tired of that? Why don't you go over to shortstop and play the hardest position on the field besides maybe catcher? Go do that, and then we'll have another job. Okay, he goes out there and he's playing at a Gold Glove level. This is sick. The ability of this guy to just leave a position and go to another one and just command the position defensively. It's amazing what strides this team can make with the amount of talent they got. So, they're starting to show it a little bit, push on the pedal a little bit. I think they're going to be, the team to be reckoned with, at the end of the year.
All right. Well, before we get to I got to ask you about Pedro Guerrero because he's got some great quotes and great stories, and I got to ask you about a couple of them to see if they're true or not. But I got to ask you about the throwing thing. I played against Knobloch, all right, and when they moved him to left field after he had kind of the same thing. First of all, how did you get over it? Maybe I should start with where did it start, and then how did you get over it? Because I've seen guys not be able to get over it. Rick Ankiel, right? He got. I guess we can use the yips. Exactly. He got the yips, didn't throw a strike. How'd you get over it?
Well, it's a long story, AJ, and I'll kind of get this tight. Is that the last conversation I ever had with my dad, the night before he died? If you knew what my dad was like, he wasn't "I love you and I'm sorry." He was a doer, not a talker. And he told me that he went through the same thing when he was a ball player. My dad was a really good baseball player. And this is how you get over this issue. You don't have a mental block. He said you have a temporary loss of confidence. And once the confidence comes back, this thing will dissipate. And so I started working on it in practice, just like he had told me. And I started getting my confidence back in practice. I actually switched him. I took on practice as a game. And so when game time came along, it was like, hey, I've already been through this. I was relaxing. And then when I got through that thing, I went on and I led the league in fielding in my position when I went to the American League. And I was in the top 5 fielding from then on in all second basemen. So it was about conversations with my dad that helped me get over this. And then oddly enough, after my dad died, about 3 years later, I was talking to my mom about this conversation with my dad. And my mom and dad have been together since the 5th grade. And my mom told me, she said, your dad never had a throwing problem in his life. He just said that because he knew how much I revered his strength and his wisdom. And if he could go through it, then it's not so bad that I'm going through it. And that's how I got my confidence back, by somebody that was selfless enough, like my dad, to tell me this when he never went through a throwing problem, but it helped me get over it. And thankfully, I was one of the very few guys that went through this thing that got over it. Because as you said, AJ, a lot of guys don't get over this issue.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. Well, then I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask it. Pedro Guerrero had some great quotes. Don't hit it to me. Don't hit it to Saxy either. Is probably one of the all-time great ones. There's some other ones we can't say on the air about Pedro. But, I mean, how many great Pedro Guerrero stories are there out there?
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them I can't even, as you said, can't.
There's a lot we can't tell on the air.
But yes, I think he said that, and that was a great quote. I even thought that was hilarious. And if you think about it, as horrible as I was, I mean, I had 24, 26 errors at the break. I mean, it was just the worst thing you'd ever imagine. But Pedro Guerrero actually did worse than me. So I mean, nobody talks about him. But yeah, we were slinging that sucker everywhere around the field. But
what did Tommy say? Like, what was Tommy saying at this point?
Tommy was just going nuts. I mean, and you know what's weird is we got in the playoffs that year. In all the errors that I made, for instance, and I take responsibility on my own stuff, I only had one error that cost us a game that year. One error the whole year. We were up 6-1 in the ninth, and I'd screw one up. You know, I'd throw that thing. It was like, you know, like when you play. I don't play golf, but I see guys that putt at the end. That's kind of what I would do. Is I'd do it great, everything was fine, rhythm, throw, and then I'd tighten it up, and that thing would go. I mean, these throws weren't even close to first base, so you knew that there was something wrong, right? And once I got the confidence back, it was just, man, this is so easy. How did I go through this? I mean, throwing a baseball has got to be the easiest thing to do in this very tough sport. But I don't know, the confidence just goes, man, you can't do anything. So that's where it was.
I have a fan question here from, I just lost it. I don't remember who asked it. I'm forgetting the name, but I do know the question. The question was, which team did you think was better / enjoy playing on more, 81 or 88?
Well, 81, I was just there for a little bit. You know, I got called up in August, and I stuck with the team. So I played, you know, up until the World Series, and Lasorda said, he brought me in the office, and he said, hey, nobody loses a job because they're hurt. Davey Lopes was now healthy, and he said, you showed you can play, but now you sit down. You sit down, and I'm going to play Davey Lopes. But here's what Tommy said to me. He said, but I want to tell you, if I'm the manager next year, you're going to be the second baseman. So just shut your mouth and sit down. I said, yes, sir. And he was right. That's exactly what happened. But I think I learned a lot, probably the most coming up on that year. But the most memorable, I think, was 88 because we were there the whole year. We weren't supposed to even win the division. We were picked fourth in our division that year. We got beat 10 out of 11 games against the Mets that year, and we beat them in 7 in the playoffs. And then to beat the mighty Bash Brothers and the A's in 5 games in the World Series had to be the pinnacle of it all. And that was probably the most memorable. Definitely was.
Knowing you won a World Series in LA, are you surprised that they haven't, with the teams that they've constructed, the teams that they haven't won more than one? Or is it really that difficult?
I think it's mostly that difficult. You know, there's so many things you guys know. You guys played. I mean, there's so many things that happen. They have to happen. The luck part of it is real. I think that's a real thing that you have to have some luck, injuries and all that. You have to have the stalwarts play at their best, and you have to have a couple surprises on your team. And that all happened for us in 88. How about Tim Leary? Nobody talks about Tim Leary. He goes down to Mexico on the weekends all winter long and develops a split finger. He comes into the season that year and wins 17 games for us. That was amazing. That was one of our surprises. In Game 5 against the Mets, Mike Scioscia hits a home run off of Dwight Gooden. Who would have thunk that that's going to happen, right? That saved us. Oh, so we had so many things happen to us that year that were just magical. So, and of course, Gibson was amazing that year. So we just had a lot of good things happen for us that year.
Wait, you forgot a guy. You forgot a guy.
Who's that?
You forgot a pitcher. He'll be so mad if you forget about him.
Oh, Fernando.
No, Oral in 88.
Oh, of course.
You better not show up to it. Hey, you better not show up at a Dodger game. Oral.
He'll talk about it.
Like,
he'll talk about it.
You forgot about me.
You know what? We almost take Oral for granted. He was that good. I mean, 59 and 2/3 innings. I mean, coming out of the bullpen in the playoffs to take a game with the Mets, and then start and finish it off. You know, against all the games he started and finished off throughout the playoffs and World Series to finish it off against the A's. Oral was not even. It was like this guy wasn't real. and he got us out of so many jams. He was like a one-man wrecking crew. But it's almost like we take him for granted. Oh yeah, we know Oral was up there, but we had amazing stuff happen to us, and our pitching was the main reason. That was.
Hey, were you involved in the play that kept his streak alive?
Yeah, I caught the pop-up. In short right field that sealed it off. And I don't think I ever gave Oral the ball. I probably still have that around here somewhere.
Oh, boy. You better watch out. But no, I was talking about there was an interference play, wasn't it, in San Francisco where there was like first and third and it was a double play and this slide or something like grabbed the shortstop and kept it. There was some crazy play that kept it alive?
I think it was in San Diego. That happened. And there was some crazy play like that and they waved it off it would kind of remind me of when O.J. Simpson, finished just under 2,000 yards. And then they went back and checked it, and they said, "Oh, wait a minute! He wasn't down on this play, so we're going to give him a 4-yard gain. So he gets 2,003 yards." It may have been something like that, but it doesn't take away what Oral did. Oral was just electric. No. And AJ, you would appreciate this as a catcher. Oral, 2 pitches really, sinker and a slider, both sides of the plate, and just incredible, incredible command. And worked fast. The infield worked behind him, and once in a while he threw a 4-seamer up, but most of all it was just that, and they were just dotted every time. It was incredible.
Were you the one who told Gibby that 3-2 Eckersley throws a slider backdoor and sit on it?
That was
the scout?
Mel Didier, the scout. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was Mel Didier. And Gibby,
that's an amazing story, by the way.
It really is, and he was sitting on that pitch. Why Eckersley would throw him,
Ron Hassey's fault. Ron Hassey's fault, the catcher.
Really? Yeah. Yeah, he was throwing the fastball by him. He couldn't touch the fastball. He was barely fouling it off, and then he threw him that backup slider, and man, he was just right at the end of his swing. I got that picture on my wall over here. This is another picture I have on my wall. I'm sure you guys know about that.
That's what we're getting to right now. So let's spend a couple minutes on this. Explain what you have behind you, and also the bigger picture here. About the kids' Art for Charity to benefit the Captain John J. Sachs Foundation.
Yeah. Well, you guys all know what happened with my son. I lost my son about 2 years ago. My son was a phenomenal Marine. He loved serving his country. He was the best child in the world. My son, I never once scolded my son in his whole life. I'm not saying he was a perfect kid, but boy, he was damn close. And that's the way I look at him. And so this picture behind me is taken from a 1922 snapshot of Babe Ruth on a barnstorming tour. You can see Babe Ruth right here. And you guys have probably seen this picture before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What the artist did, Opie Otterstad, he took this snapshot, painted this mural that I bought from him in New York City about 15, 20 years ago. And he supplanted the faces of all those little boys in that snapshot in 1922 with current Hall of Famers when they were kids. Now, if you go through here, you can pick out 58 little boys in here or 56 of them were Hall of Famers. 56 Hall of Famers out of the 58 in this picture. Like, for instance, if you can see it, this is Stan Musial. This is Nolan Ryan. This is Juan Marichal. And you can just go through here, and there's a I can show this to you. There's a static graph right here. You can check this out. You can see all the faces with numbers on them, and the numbers correspond with the name here, and it can tell you who it is. So this sits next to the painting, and you could go to this in front of this thing and spend 5 hours going, I wonder who that kid is. I wonder who that kid is. So what my guys and I did, the team I work with, is we've done 2 things with this painting. Number one, we're going to mint 200 of this painting. We're going to mint 200 of them, and they're going to be minted on the blockchain. It's going to be a non-fungible token that you can upload in your Apple Wallet, and you can have this any size you want, and it looks identical to this picture. Okay? You can put it on your Apple Wallet, on your watch. You can put it at SoFi Stadium in LA, and it could be 129 yards long, and it'll look exactly like this. It'll never be changed. It's immutable. It can never be added or subtracted from, and it'll always be able to stay in its perfect condition as you see right now. The second thing that they've done is we've made it interactive. Now, for instance, you can hover over this face right here, and people don't know who this is. they can hover over that little boy's face and his name's going to come up. That's Hank Aaron. You click on it, and a 3-minute video is going to come up and fill up the whole screen of Hank Aaron playing in the big leagues. That will dissolve, and then you go to the next little boy, and you go to the next one, and the next one. And like I said, you could be there for hours doing this, but that's what we're bringing. We're going to launch this probably in about 3 weeks. Definitely by June 1st, this is going to be out there, and we're hoping that all the teams will get one of these and use it in their stadiums. And Major League Baseball will use it on their Saturday, little kids show. Like they can identify with some of these kids that look just exactly like they do. And then we're going to hold back about 50 to 100 for the public to get as well. So we're hoping people will come on and go to babeandthekids.com. That's the website. If they go to babeandthekids.com, they can go on here, check it out, and they can actually put their name on the list, and we'll contact them if we're available. But we're going to hold about 100 back for the public. Now, what my guys and I are doing is we're just a straight out for-profit company, but we're taking the profits that we're getting from this, and we're going to donate a huge amount of the profits to my son's foundation. As a matter of fact, 75% of all the money going to my son's foundation this year is going to come from the sale of this project. So we're hoping that people get on board of this and really help us set his foundation forward.
This is awesome. Yeah, I'm going to actually pass this clip along to a few baseball owners that I know.
Yeah,
because I like what you're saying.
Players. Hey guys, here's another thing is, since there's going to be 200 of these, people are going to be able to take a number and we're going to mint that number in their honor. For instance, the Dodgers are getting one of these already. We're going to mint number 42 in Jackie Robinson's honor for the Dodgers. Don Drysdale is right here. His family is going to get mint number 53 because that was the number that Don wore. And we're going to be able to give them number 53 and so on. So we're hoping, Shohei Ohtani takes 17. Aaron Judge takes 99. We're hoping that former and current players jump all over this and get it. This would be an amazing thing.
Yeah, I can picture going to a ballpark, right? And you're
Exactly.
in say for the Mets, the Jackie Robinson Rotunda, and there's a section. You have to.
There you go.
You have
there
to.
you go.
I will make a phone call or three.
Coolest painting I've ever seen.
Agreed.
And I'm not I'm not big into paintings because I don't understand it. Like I know people are really good at it.
Yeah.
And it's a talent.
Mm-hmm.
Coolest painting ever.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, AJ. Thank you.
Saxy,
yeah. I love it. Yes, sir.
Saxy, you got to have Opie talk about this. I was in Houston last week. He didn't mention anything about this. I was talking to him in Houston.
Great.
He didn't say a word about this thing.
That is a great point. And listen to this last one. I got to tell you about this. You guys are going to love this. His signature is right here. This is the original painting right here. See his signature right there? Okay.
Yep.
If people get one of this and they can put it in whatever monitor they want, right? And if they click on Opie's name, a 2-minute and 25-second video is going to come up of Opie telling you how he painted this, what he used to paint it, what was the genesis of the painting, why it came to be that he did it this way, and why it took him 8 years to paint this. It took Opie Otterstedt 8 years to paint this. And he's going to come up in a full screen video and tell you all about it. So I think that's a really cool little, nuance to the painting.
Super cool. One other question here that we're getting from some of our fans watching live, and maybe this comes after, the OG 200 gets sold. Is there any opportunity for some type of print after you get through the mint?
It's possible, but
Okay.
we want to make sure that these stay exclusive.
Yep.
And that's why people say, why don't you do 1,000 of them or whatever? No, we're only doing 200 of them. That's it. There may be other things that we do later because we're doing several different things for the foundation. And by the way, whoever gets one of these is on our team. They're going to have a say in the direction of the next year's event for my son's foundation. Everybody that owns one is going to be on the team, and they're going to help us decide the direction of the foundation.
This is awesome. babeandthekids.com. Saxy, thanks for laying this out for us. And then please alert us too when it's live. Maybe you said maybe June 1st-ish.
Yes. Hey, check out The Athletic tomorrow. Huge article about this whole story tomorrow in The Athletic.
We'll retweet it and post it, the whole deal. Awesome catching up with you, dude. Been way too long. Good to see you.
I know. Thank you, guys. AJ, good to see you guys.
Thanks. Thanks, Saxy.
Thank you,
See you, buddy.
Saxy.
You bet.
Hey,
Take care,
when you're in LA.
Yeah.
You can still say it.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
No, I was gonna
He's
say
back.
next time you're in LA, I'm in LA. We'll have to hook up. We'll have to get me, you. And
Yeah,
Taylor
I'd love to.
together.
I'd love to. Scott, I'll give you my number for him.
Yes, please. Yeah, I'll pass it on. I have yours.
Okay.
Thanks,
for your help,
Saxy.
guys.
Hey, everybody! Be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.